The Apple Watch Series 10 is here. It has the biggest display ever. It's also the thinnest Apple Watch ever, making it even more comfortable on your wrist, whether you're running, swimming, or sleeping. And it's the fastest charging Apple Watch, getting you 8 hours of charge in just 15 minutes. The Apple Watch Series 10, available for the first time in glossy jet black aluminum. Compared to previous generations, iPhone XS or later required. Charge time and actual results will vary.
What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming into the review of Oneirous' brand new single, December's Mourning. So by the sound of it, this is the band's debut single, no albums, nothing before this, so I was happy to hear this band's beginning. It's always interesting when I discover bands and it's their third album, and then I have to wonder, like, hey, have they evolved? Have they become more like the trends? Have they done their own thing like Blind Guardian did after album 4? But oftentimes the first album, or even like the first song, has this raw, unbridled aggression and inspiration, because usually that's the thing that made the people want to form the band in the first place. Sometimes it is nothing more than worship of their favorite acts, but if nothing else, it's very honest, and it's before they had any conception of having to live down to expectations. You remember how Skype used to be a great VoIP service before Microsoft bought them? Imagine that, but in music form. So about this band, it is apparently a one-man band, and in a word or two, I would say it's symphonic black metal. Okay, that's 3. The track opens up with something kind of like the Haunted Mansion theme, like the Disney ride, or like End of the Beginning by Black Sabbath, but more symphonic. Those two are the same anyway. Maybe throw in some Mandatory Suicide by Slayer for good measure. But it's this really cool, haunting track. Quickly after that, we get into some really fast riffing. And I usually am one who praises choruses, but there's a really awesome intensity and urgency to these verses. For most of the track, there is this fantastic vocal shriek. I'm going to say somewhere in between Alexei Laiho and Asan. Emperor era, of course. Later on, we are complimented with a proper growl, and one of the better ones I've heard. The track is something like 8 minutes long, and we're treated to multiple vocal styles, and I dare say even multiple metal styles. I was mentioning, Slayer, and also Children of Bodom, and also Black Sabbath. Those 3 are pretty different. It's a journey of a song, definitely worth listening to. I worry that this is going to make me sound like an uninformed douche cunt, but if I had to pick one band that this track sounds like, I'd probably say Cradle of Filth, but hey, I'm a power metal nerd. I don't know much about symphonic black metal. Apologies if there's way more obscure stuff that this is closer to. I will say that this does make me want to listen to more, so it's a good gateway track if nothing else. Killer opener from a brand new band. I'm definitely eager to see what they do next. If they put out an EP, I will happily review that too. Feel free to tell me whatever side of metal I'm missing, because this track left me curious. Thanks, dude. Rock on.
Every listener to Too Much Effing Perspective knows that my co-host Alan Keller is a music nerd, and right up there in his pantheon with the Beatles and Elvis Costello is The Clash. So Alan, it's one thing for you to be a nerd, but how did you rope in a cool guy, 311's Nick Hexum, into a full-on Clash geek fest on our show?
Well, first of all, Alex, it was your idea.
Oh, right.
Second, Nick actually jammed with the Clash's Joe Strummer in a supergroup that included Flea and Tom Morello.
Okay, well, there is that.
And finally, one member of the Clash cited This Is Spinal Tap, the reason our show even exists, as his favorite movie.
Which one?
Hey, if you want to find out, you got to listen to Too Much Effing Perspective. That's Too Much EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.